Hi, hello, and welcome to our third Dune Awakening stream here live from our offices in Oslo. I'm Natasha Rösli, Senior Global Peer Manager here at Funcom, and I'm going to be your host for tonight. I'm very excited because we have lots of things to go over, but first, let's talk beta. We have, if you haven't heard it, we have a large-scale beta coming up from the 9th to the 12th of May. And
which, of course, we got to mess around with. That was a good time.
First, you can request access to that beta on our Dune Awakening Steam page. You can also go to our website and request beta access from the website directly, or you should keep an eye on your favorite streamer, content creator, because they might have gift keys to give away as well. Last but not least, we will have a global broadcast from PAX East.
And they gave away a whole crap ton of keys, which is how I got one so that I could spend 2 days in the beta.
To get some keys during that specific broadcast.
So it's good that they did that for everybody.
Make sure to try one or several of them to get higher chances at a key. With that out of the way, what the segments that we have coming up today are the following. We will be talking about building. We will also be talking about narrative and story. We will also be talking about the Landsrat and the exchange. We will also have a contest for the building segment. And during our Q&A, we also will have a raffle where we give away some special edition for the game. So stay tuned for that as well. As always, remember, we will be collecting questions during the stream. Our community team will collecting questions, and those should be in relations to what we actually discuss, to the segments that we're discussing. Yes, I think that's pretty much everything. So before we dive into the building segment, let's watch a brand new video.
A terrible sandstorm is building. The only hope for survival is to take shelter, and quickly. On Arrakis, exposure to the raw, unbridled elements is death. But walls alone will not save you from the maelstrom. You need power and the engineering of Chone to raise a protective shield against the storm. Without such protection, even the strongest walls will erode and fail in time, as will anything left in the open. Your exposed vehicle is beyond repair, but a lesson is learned.
Next time you use your vehicle backup tool.
Better protection against the dangers of
at least for the bike.
It's time to upgrade your base. Base construction and expansion can be done alone or together with others. With Solido projections, building as a group is easy. To further customize your base, you must align yourself with one of the warring great houses, displaying your allegiance through their unique architecture. The Atreides welcome your aid. Swear your fealty to the Atreides and rise to greatness on Arrakis. Your base serves as a reflection of both your influence and your allegiance to a faction. The safety provided by your base allows you to craft.
I think they've done such a really good job with the building stuff. I know there's a lot of games that have done this, not the least of which is Conan Exiles, which is an earlier Funcom title.
Once each part of your vehicle is assembled,
there's a lot of depth, I think, to the building, a lot of options.
Further and customize its appearance.
More than I expected initially.
By aligning with the Atreides, you have earned the option to craft their faction-specific ground car.
Sector window alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
On the horizon, another sandstorm approaches. But this time, you are prepared. Your base is equipped with powerful shields for protection, and a custom-built garage that will keep all your vehicles safe from the raging storm. The shields are vital, but they come with a cost. With a construction of this size, the Emperor demands attacks to keep your base running. You will construct grand bases. And in Dune Awakening, you will have the option to share them with others if you choose.
Building copied.
All your creations can be recorded as blueprints. These can be shared with allies, or even bought and sold on the exchange. Anyone holding a blueprint can instantly place a projection of the entire building and construct an exact copy for themselves. Dune Awakening's building system allows for limitless creativity. Build your foundations strong, for your walls must stand against the unfathomable forces of Arrakis. Your Arrakis.
It's cool stuff. I like the fact that you can sell your blueprints on the market, or the market, right? The exchange, whatever they're calling it. I think that's pretty cool. Be interesting to see how crowded it gets, how quickly. It's probably a good thing that the sieges, the PvP area, rather, you can only have 40 people on at a time. But
welcome back. I have now two very exciting guests with me to talk about the building, and actually quite a few things that we've seen in the video a little bit in more detail. Welcome, you two. So on my side here, I have Leo Welter, who some of you might recognize. We had on stream earlier with Joel in one of our segments. Would you like to introduce yourself quickly?
Yes, I'm Leo. I'm a lead game designer on Dune Awakening, and I'm responsible for building and social systems.
Yes, and then we have a new face on the stream on the side there, Tor Egil Andersen, also known as Mr. Legendary Tor Egil for some on the Discord, because he's actually the one who does all the magic.
Don't worry, Glitch, good to see you.
When you see buildings in like marketing.
Yeah, and I totally agree, Galga. It's it is an investment in time, and to be able to see it, even if it's just saving it for yourself, super important. And I think it's going to be a major factor in the deep desert.
Yeah,
since every week everything gets wiped.
Funcom since 2011, and I'm the senior content manager on the marketing team. So usually when you see something built or you see videos or images, I'm usually involved in some way.
Absolutely, like I said, magic. So when we talk building system, we should probably also talk about what is the goal with the building system and kind of how does it differ from, let's say, Conan Exiles, for example. Leo.
Yeah, so for the building system, two things we really wanted to emphasize is that on one hand, we want to retain the freedom that you had in Conan Exiles, right? So you can build quite a lot without restriction, but on the other hand, we also wanted to make sure that building worked on another level of persistence that we have in Dune Awakening, right? So some restrictions were necessary there. So we wanted to make sure that those two things worked hand in hand.
Yeah, because you have a seamless world, and it's very heavy on your system as well. Otherwise, I think when it comes to quality of life improvements, is there anything that you feel we learned from Conan Exiles that goes into Dune Awakening?
So the building system in Conan Exiles evolved through many, many years, and that also taught us much for Dune Awakening. So I felt we've taken those learnings and put them in here, and so it's a bit of an evolvement of the Conan Exiles building system, but it's also it allows us to basically take those learnings, but also expand the system with especially more unique building pieces, more unique styles, and make it flow easily as you build. So now Conan Exiles is unique in that it has through 8 years been adding dozens of building sets. So we're not there yet on Dune Awakening, obviously, but we have 4 at launch, and we're going to keep adding as we go on.
And of course, one of the differences that was mentioned is the land claim and the sub-fief basically that you place down. I think we should just jump into the game and actually show what that looks like. and how you
Total sidebar, but for anybody that hasn't been paying attention to the Dune Awakening news, they announced yesterday that a private server rental will be available at launch for people who are interested in that. It's kind of relevant to the building stuff because there's definitely going to be people that are mostly in the game about doing the PvE content either by themselves or with friends, right? And they want to build. And they're not necessarily interested in the MMO aspect, which I very much am. For me, it's not going to be about a private server at all. It's going to be about getting on the public server and the dynamic experience, playing with friends and people that we don't know and all of that, right? But the fact that they said private servers soon, and now, boom, they've managed to pull that out of their hat before launch, right? At launch, you'll be able to rent a private server, and you rent the server from Funcom. There's a lot of good information about it. I'll find the link here in just a second as they start talking and share it in case anybody wants to read the whole deal. But I think they're doing it pretty smart. And I mean, in a way, you rent a siege, and it's the PvE area, and that siege connects to a deep desert of only other private servers. So it's not like they're going to cross and intermingle people who are playing in the private servers who obviously they're going to have a different set of overall obstacles to face. If you rent a private server that's just for you and your buddies, you guys are the only ones that are going to get to use the PvE areas on that siege, right? Unless you decide to open it up for other people. And I don't know exactly how that works, but I believe they've got all the information, right? So they don't necessarily want those people crossing over into live server deep deserts where people may not have the same access to the PvE materials because there's no other people contesting who gets to grab them first. Right. But so I think they've been pretty smart about the way that they're doing it. I don't know that necessarily that the price is right. I want to say that it's in the neighborhood of $50, which seems a little expensive to me. But if you have a group and you want a private server, you guys could obviously share that cost. And that's not that bad. And, you know, I mean, server costs are server costs. They are what they are. Like I said, for me, it's an MMO-esque experience that I'm looking for. So I want to play in a public server with, you know, whoever we run into and all of the varied sieges. So, but I thought it was cool. So where I got off on the tangent was the soon TM thing, right? For those of you that might be coming over from Star Citizen like I am, soon TM means something completely different with CIG. Usually means, you know, hey, 2 years, right? That's the meme. We'll see it in 2 years. Totally seems to be a different vibe coming from Funcom. They say soon, and here we are, just weeks later from, you know, their live stream where they talked about it, and boom, it's going to be in right at launch. So I look forward to seeing how often they add build sets, right? Like I said, there's going to be 4 at launch, and we got Chome, we got Atreides, we got Harkonnen. What's the other one? Is it the Twitch drops? Because we know that they mentioned Twitch drops in live stream number 4, which at least have some Chome elements. So I don't even know what the 4th one is. Maybe they'll talk about it today since they are talking about the building stuff. So seeing more stuff, that 3rd faction that they said will be coming shortly after launch, I figured might be 6 months into the year. Maybe it won't take that long to get that 3rd faction ad. But even 6 months into the year is a lot sooner than the 2 years plus that we'd expect from CIG, right? Anyway, I'll get off of that tangent and get back to the video. But it just made me think, wow, I can't believe they're getting this done at launch. It just really made me excited for the overall growth and progress with Funcom team because they're in it. Man, they're in it to win it, as I would say, to get the game ready for everybody to enjoy at length, and I'm really excited about that.
start.
Maybe that's super obvious.
So then, you're not quite dead.
That's funny because that's the cinematic that they don't play before.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. It's the whole reason I'm watching the whole thing instead of in chunks.
Yeah.
Okay, now we see. Okay, cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
They had to grab the right scene.
So we have 2 ground cars out here, and we're looking for a spot to build our base.
I can't wait to get my buggy.
we see
I didn't get the buggy in the
Yeah.
in the beta weekend,
So
and
the
it
way
is
we
one of my
start
big
with that
goals,
is
one of my
we find a
early
good
goals,
spot,
is to get
and
it as
then
soon
we
as
start
possible.
By placing our sub-thief console, which is how we claim a piece of land.
One thing to keep in mind there is that you see these outlines and you can see where there's red, there is a point of interest, NPC camp, something like that, so you cannot build there. But the other places you can build.
Including
So
in the
places-
desert, which is
at
not
the
a wise
moment I have
move.
the starting sub-5 console, which is basically just in Haga Basin South. You want to talk about the differences, Leo?
Yep.
With the
So
advanced?
later on in progression, you'll unlock the advanced sub-thief console, which can claim a larger piece of land, which is the one you can see here, and that one can also be expanded to an even greater area, or it can be expanded vertically as well, if you want to do that. All right. So now that we have the sub-thief console here, what you can do is add the other player here to its permission list, and that will give them access to it as well. So now they're an associate, you can elevate them to co-owner level of permission, and they'll give them increased rights to
Permissions.
perform various activities.
Something
on
else
the
that
base.
makes me cry with
Now,
CIG.
this is the base management screen, as we call it, and here you can see details such as the name of the
You
base,
can see
up
the
in left
taxation
corner,
here already,
which can be changed as well.
right? Because the advanced sub-peep,
Yeah,
no
you
matter
can
how
do that
small
there.
the base is,
Do
that's
whatever
when you
name
have
you
to deal
like.
with the tax
And,
that you go pay.
Then you can choose if it's your respawn location or not. You see some stats about the base there, the area and the number of objects of various categories against the current cap.
Docilely.
And the cap
They
that
don't
you see
seem
there
very
is also
excited.
expanded when
Sometimes
you-
their manner is
when
very
you expand
flat,
base.
particularly
And then
some
you
of the
have
devs.
Shield status information.
Some of them
as well
are more
there.
excited when
And
you
the
see them
base
talk
shields,
about it. Like, Joel
once
seems
they're
hyped about the
they
whole
will
thing.
Protect your base against storm damage.
Yeah, this is crucial in Dune,
Yeah.
to have your shields active. Otherwise, your base will start deteriorating.
Also,
Yeah.
we see a tax area there as well, of
Yeah.
course, for the
Yeah.
taxes.
Yeah, so the advanced sub-thief console is taxed on a cycle, and yeah, if you don't end up paying that, then you'll lose your shield privileges, which will mean that the base will start taking damage.
Right.
the
That's sort of a
base.
maintenance.
I like that it's a
cost.
soft
Right, and also like the base
deconstruction of the base, right? It isn't
No,
just
the
you
first
don't pay your
sub-thief
tax, or
is
it's
not
just
taxed.
2 weeks if
Only
you don't
when you
log in,
progress
just
further
boom,
into the game.
your base dies. It's
Right now, I'm claiming more land.
one more
which is
thing I
something
think
you can
they've
do with the advanced sub
done in
console.
an intelligent
So I'm
way.
gonna claim this land, and as we play, Camille is also going to claim some more. You can keep advancing, expanding your base until you have 6 land claims. So it's quite a big area.
Yeah.
It's not
Wow.
infinite, obviously, but it's still quite big.
Yeah, you have the
6
staking
lane
unit working
claims
over
spread
there, right?
across
And
3.
the more segments you've claimed, the
No.
longer this will take, right?
Can- I
And
wonder,
if
can you
this
use
was a
the
PvP
lane
area,
claim
this is a process that
expansions
can,
with the regular sub-beep? I don't think so.
followed.
It's just the advanced, right?
Yeah, you see you have a countdown here. And Camille is...
But you can still
starting
have
to build
2
here,
regular
so
sub-beeps in addition.
we can build our base together. That's a good thing in the game here. Let me just show you the basics of building here.
I think it's also important to mention that you can claim not just vertically, but also horizontally, right?
Yeah, you can expand in
Yes.
in either dimension, right? So you can.
And that's a very good point, because you can keep on building high. Like you can build super cool bases on top of these peaks. Find a
I want some
nice,
verticality in my
elevated
base for
place
sure.
and just, build a cool base. And we're going to see examples of that,
Yes.
later.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, you don't have to expand horizontally if you don't want to. You could expand vertically and get what you need in terms of caps from that as well.
Yeah. And here,
I
Camille has
wonder
placed
how much
some,
height you get from an
projections.
expansion when you go
So we can fill
vertically.
these. So you can just design your base and let others help construct it.
Yeah, those projections are also useful for planning out your design if you don't have enough resources available.
And for anybody that doesn't know the projections they're talking
And also
about,
you
you
see
can
you,
do
like,
your whole
Put
base
out
in
foundations
projections.
first here
Right, that's
to
how you
kinda
create a
have some
blueprint,
stability
actually.
going.
And then you can let
That's where
somebody
the-
else do
the
all of
stability
the
comes
actual
from the
building.
foundations and-
Or you don't even have to build
from that
anything at
point
all. You
you
wipe it
can
all out and start over and
expand
then
further
design
with
another
walls and
base to
other
sell a blueprint,
structures.
which all of that's Very
Some
cool to
important
me.
thing your base is going to need is power, as we talked about, to power the shields. So I'm going to place a generator here. Now you can't get power from nothing. You have to have fuel for it. But we have a bit here, so I'm going to add the fuel.
Also, I just want to mention that we're actually cheating here a little bit. So we have dehydration off.
Cheaters.
And we also don't have
Cheaters.
sunstroke.
Yeah.
So it just
Funcom
just
cheaters
so you know, just
confirmed.
to makes it easier for us to actually show all
Yeah.
the things that we want to
You
show.
can focus on building here.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And here you can see the shields are now active.
Yeah. You can see it on the generator there and
Yeah.
on the subthief console effect that you have underneath there.
So, and you can move things you placed. You can't move building pieces, but you can move your placeables. And you can also easily, you can see here on my right side, I can control what I want to do. Piece picker, repair, move, demolish, or build. And this is very, very handy, and you can just, on a mouse and keyboard, you can just swap between it with a right click. So with piece picker, you can easily pick the piece you want, and now you have it selected.
Yeah, that's how we allow you to do most building-related activities just with the use of one tool.
And demolish, the moment you remove a piece, you get full refund on the resources.
Which I personally love.
Yeah.
Because it just makes it like, so you don't make mistakes and you get like punished for it, or like if
It's
you don't
not a
like
disaster
something.
if
I
you
love
make a
that.
mistake,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And also we've now put
It's a
down
little bit
some
less of a
storage chests,
hardcore
so you can see,
attitude, but I
which
think it's
is
probably the
very
best
cool
choice.
as well, because you can actually craft but also build straight out of those
Yeah.
storage chests.
Yes, it will automatically take
More in the way of
the
Starfield.
resources you have.
Yeah.
Recreated
as long,
pods,
of course,
etc.
as you do
Yeah,
have,
I think that it'll probably
those
be more like
resources
Starfield, like you're saying. That's what
collected,
I
as you have
believe
them available.
that's where CIG will
talking
go.
about that, we have
I think this would be a bit
Bill,
much
who
for
is
Star
now
Citizen, even though
going
personally I
out
think it would be very
to
cool.
harvest some resources.
I
for
think it
us.
would
We
be
actually have enough to
Very
build
difficult to
and
pull
some
off the
more
same
things.
thing, especially since
He's on the way
Star Citizen's
to
open
collect
PvP,
some
right? You can just
banners.
You
imagine
can see another
here in the
building
interface
section
trying to
as
build
well.
your base, and here
Started
comes,
looking
you
into
know,
the
Griefer
Drone
Net or
Foundation
Shadow
here.
Moses or
So at the
somebody
moment
messing
we
up your
have,
stuff.
the building
So that would
starter
probably
building
be a
set is
little
the drone
much.
shelter.
Okay, and now we are actually switching over to Camille.
Yeah.
I imagine there'll be, you know, the customization we'll get in Star Citizen will be more like, you know, skins.
Driving the mining buggy.
Out looking for some resources.
Yes.
So let's see what we find.
Yes, you can see it has a mining turret on top there.
Yeah. So this is a more
Look at all
advanced
of the-
version of mining.
look at all the
So you
wreckage
can
to
drive
salvage.
around. You're looking for some resource node or some wreck that you want to mine from. And once you find something you like this node here, you can just jump into the turret and mine it for some resources. And this is a lot more effective than doing it on foot.
He's doing it on
I
his
wondered
own now,
how
but of
difficult
course you
it
can
would
do
be
it
to
with a
swap to
friend,
the
so one can
turret.
drive and the other one because actually can use the turret.
For sure.
Goes way faster.
4 hours ruined by an M2 in seconds. Yeah, exactly.
A little back up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So this is cool if you have one driver and one miner.
yeah, it's
So
easier
it's-
than
yeah.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So that makes it a bit easier. But
There we
it
go.
is, it's possible with just one
efficient.
person.
Yes, it's more efficient. You get
But it's not as bad as like a
you
mole
mine some carbon here.
in Star Citizen. You don't have to get up and walk around and then get in the other turret. So it could be worse.
No,
And the added storage in the
We're heading
buggy
back.
is probably going to
we're looking for
offset
more
the
resources.
extra clicks for
fine.
sure.
So he's driving in Jabal Fleet now, which is above the rift. So you can see there's a lot of elevation here. This is a cool place to build tall
So this
buildings.
is like the fourth zone or something. If
I
it's
like
north of the
building
rift.
buildings, bases hanging out over ledges, for example, can be very fun.
Yeah, you can build up on those spires if you want to, and
Yeah, I think we can go back and do some more building.
Yes, okay, so we were talking about the different building sets. Right now we're showing off the Chom sets. As I said, you start with this one, Chom Shelter. The next one here is Chom
I
Facility.
hear combat.
These you can learn with just progressing, basically. But in addition, you have Atreides and Harkonnen building pieces. And for this, you got to align with one of the factions.
Yeah, so you progress from one to the other, and then you can pick one of the factions.
Yeah, you don't lose your
depending on which
Atreides
faction
skin
you
if you
align.
betray Atreides to go Harkonnen and vice versa. That's kind of nice. However, you can only betray any given house once.
Basis to show from that.
Hey, how you doing, Daxo?
So Narna didn't get the angle right. So
Yes, me too, Gal. How clearly defined the inner and outer faces are for the pieces. Yes, they do make that easy. I tell you what. Of course, I don't remember what button press was now, but I had the hardest time trying to figure out how to switch, because the first time I went to go build, it was highlighting the interface, and then the next time it was the outer face, and for me to get the piece placed, I had to crawl all the way outside and peek across. But there is a
piece for it.
A button press to rotate it.
So you actually expanded on the.
So I think there could maybe be a little bit more in the way of tooltips in the building tool.
Yes.
So I quite like.
But it is actually very powerful.
Half height. So you have half height walls. This will work well with the roofs, because some of them are not just flat. They are. They build up. One half height. So you can see here. Let's see. One more.
There you go.
So you have basically a piece for every slot.
Yeah, and there are a lot more buried pieces that I didn't realize either. I was stuck with the favorites
Pieces here are quite a bit
when I first started building, because I didn't realize there was a way to expand that and see all of the extra curves and angles and ramps and columns, and I was like, wait a minute.
With the bigger pieces, you get less of that, so it's more visually interesting.
And as soon as I saw that, I immediately
also
spent an
helps
hour
when you're building
revamping
a
my
huge
base.
because you want to accommodate the vehicles that we see there,
Yes.
or even bigger vehicles that we have.
So right now I'm just mixing and matching a little bit here.
God, back
So here you can see the second tier has different colors. The Harkonnen and Atreides building set are very different. They have
Okay,
very
so
different
that's the
colors and looks,
fourth building
and they
set
have
then, is the tier
their
2
own, unique pieces.
Chom.
Chom here has some unique pieces as well. For example, like these ones, you can build these open areas, so you can basically build sort of little verandas, I would say. I built it just inside here now, but the Harkonnen and Atreides have
That's
even
cool.
more unique pieces. So we're going to look at them later also, but especially things like the gates are massive and iconic. So the Atreides gate, for example, has a huge hawk on it, while the Harkonnen one has a big face. So we're going to show them in bases later.
Yeah, the Harkonnen stuff is a little bit of the necromonger vibe, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yes.
Lower end sets.
Here you can see the Harkonnen walls, for example. We can just place one here now, just to take a quick
There's a
look.
wall in Camille there.
Yes.
It's quite a different style.
You see the style is completely
very different, yeah.
and unique, right? Because this structure here will allow tons of creativity, because you can make all sorts of shapes. You can put these on tops of your bases or on the bottom, and we'll see a lot of that.
It'll definitely stand out in the
Yes, I was about
desert,
to
for
mention
sure.
that.
All of a
Let's
sudden,
see
this
that
stark
later
black
on
building.
When we do show some buildings that our beta testers have built in the beta. So once you have your build, of course, you start to also add machinery, right? Like to really establish your base.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's lots to choose from here. For example, we have shown a little bit of power generation. We can place a wind turbine here. So this will allow us to get more power.
Yeah, it's the next level of progression from the generator that you saw. Generates a bit more efficient.
And here you can see there are...
Hey, but you still need to provide a resource, it looks like. You have to provide lubricant.
And
They get big.
Yeah. Yes, they get really big. This is something really helpful in the game. This wind trap, it will help gather water for you. So it will automate survival.
Yeah,
a little
those
bit.
will probably be
You don't have to
vital.
hunt for so much water, you will be able to find it. in
Water
your
is
base,
definitely, I think, going
and
to be
it
the
will
primary
fill
resource.
cisterns.
Spice will
that you
be
can place,
probably overall the most important, but I bet water's the one you have to gather the most of.
As you go along.
Of course, it gets more complicated as well because you have to make sure you have more power, you have enough power,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
that they're all on the right circuit and all that. So
Yeah.
the bigger you build, the more kind of management is
Yeah.
also asked of you.
Right, there you have a fabricator. So this is the first one you'll get access to, and this one can be used to fabricate basic equipment from different categories. So let's see how that looks.
Yeah, so we can just start making making a pistol, for example. And you can
I kind of
see
like that,
actually
there's the whole animation thing. It shows you what's being created.
Yeah.
crafts.
I think it's cool.
And of course, you will be able to advance with different kinds of fabricators for different purposes. The biggest one is the huge vehicle fabricator here.
Yeah.
I have
Vehicle
one in a
fabricator?
place we'll
Wow.
look at later, but they're hard to place. So you need a lot of room.
Yeah, so this first one can be used to craft from many different categories, right? But as you go deeper into the technology, then you'll branch out and build more specific fabricators. For example,
The
this
team
one
trying to get
specialized for,
organized.
garments, and then you have other ones for weapons.
Placing
or
resources so they can
so.
build, and this one trying to
And
place
as you
build
craft,
that
you'll need more
stuff
and
in
more
the
resources.
building.
So there are refineries, and for example, here we have spice refineries. Place one of them. The biggest one of them is gigantic. So you see
Now you run out of power.
I went over my power limit, so now we need more power generation. So these are things you got to keep in mind as you build and as you expand.
You see that information on the subfief as well. You can actually
Yes.
check how much power is needed and
Yeah.
You can always go in here and see how you're doing. And you can refuel all your generators from here. So if you have a huge base, lots of land claim, you have wind turbines all over
That's
the place,
good
you
to
can
know.
refuel them from this one.
very
Yeah.
convenient.
Yeah.
Another thing that I love too is the fact that I think I briefly mentioned it earlier as well, that you can craft from those storages that you have directly. Another thing I really love though is the fact that you can actually move those chests without having to empty them first,
Yeah.
which is something that I really appreciate.
That makes it a lot more
personally.
convenient if you want
Yeah.
to rearrange your base. You don't
Yes,
have to.
exactly.
Yeah, and what they haven't mentioned, and I don't know if they will here, but they have mentioned in other videos, is the being able to set up circuits, right? So you can create a circuit where you tie a supply box to a fabricator, and then another box, which is a place to store the stuff that's created in the output end of the circuit. So you could put two boxes next to that fabricator if you wanted to, and one would be the stuff that you put in to fabricate from, and one would be the box where all of the stuff that gets fabricated winds up. And they don't have to be next to each other, obviously. You could put them wherever you want in the base. But I think that's pretty cool because you can add circuits, is my understanding. I only saw two in the beta, but I believe you could just create another one. And that lets you channel resources to specific fabricators, right? Like if you know that you want your guys to be able to go build their weapons and armor and stuff in this fabricator, this is where you put the stuff for that. But the people that want to build vehicle stuff or whatever, you put stuff in that box over there, and the vehicle guy can use that vehicle fabricator and know that that's where the materials go for that. Instead of it all being in one giant pool, obviously if you're working on stuff and it's just you, it doesn't necessarily matter as much. But I thought that was a really cool extra level of control that so many games don't have. That's really awesome. Looks a lot like the small fabricator from Citizen Kind. On the right to where he's building. Yes. Yeah, I think there's some stuff that's similar. Yeah, that's the one of the generators. Unless it's this one here, Dust Willie, I'm sorry, the different delays in chat make it difficult for me to know exactly what we're talking about. But this is the blood purifier here. So you fill your blood bags and then you deposit them, and this turns it into water that you can use, I think. This is a blood purifier. And then that other thing with that's kind of the long can thing laid over on the base is actually a power generator. This one over here is a regular fabricator. But there's a lot of different kinds of equipment too. And I do see some similarities. I really like that the bases here in Dune seem much more permanent. You know, the stone feels more relevant. I mean, metal's fine, but it only makes sense to use the stone as a resource. While Star Citizen, everything that we've seen from CitizenCon and all that really looks like they're all metal modules.
Move items out of your chests before you move them.
It's a little quality of life thing that makes
helps
such
a
a
lot.
huge difference. Yeah, absolutely.
So here, place the next tier of wind trap. As long as you have a shielded base, all your placeables, your decorations, all your utilities, they are also shielded. So even if they are on the roof, they have protection.
We talked about the different building sets, of course. You mentioned factions and things that we have for right now. And from what I understand, we will also have, after release, we also have Twitch drops that will be giving you some new pieces. No, we want to spoil any more details about that, but there's opportunities for people
I can
to
say
get
I've been
these
looking
sets.
at them recently.
And they look amazing, don't they? Yeah,
genuinely.
okay. Which is a bit mean that we're saying that now without showing them, but they are.
I'm
actually
glad that
looking
they're doing
very
it.
cool.
I'm
Very
I'm glad
cool.
that they're
No,
doing
that's
that kind of
not
stuff.
bad.
It
That's
definitely
Yes,
helps the community
100%.
stay
So I'm
engaged
personally very
with,
excited about that too.
you know, streamers
It's
and
very
all
cool.
that. Maybe that's a
That's
selfish thing for me, although I watch plenty of streams as well.
Decorations, obviously.
But that's an
Right now
extra
you can see
level, I think,
decorations
of
here from,
investment
both
from
Charlotte
Funcom,
Atreides and Harkonnen.
right?
We're
To
gonna
stay
show,
connected with the
bases
community in
rooms
an
decorated
active
with these
fashion.
soon. So don't worry, you're gonna see them all placed out. You can have wall decorations, carpets. So yeah, there's lots to look forward to here. Yeah, a unique and just remember the pieces will keep on coming.
Yes.
All right. Do we want to talk a little bit about copying bases?
Yeah, let's do that.
let's do that.
So in my inventory, I have a base copied already that I built before, and it is here. So it's in this replicator. So here you can see a base I've built. And as long as you have this item and you have enough land claim, you can now place out the projection of this base.
Yeah, so the way this works is that you can craft one of those Solido replicators, and with that you can then copy a design of a previous base and place it somewhere else. Or you can sell it to someone or give
Yeah,
it
we
to someone
actually,
else.
yes, we actually
Whatever you
talked
wanna
about
do
that
with
as
it.
well in one of the later segments. Exactly. Actually something that's very
So here
You know what I just thought about though is if you die and you have one in your inventory and you don't recover your corpse because you can't or you don't or you forget or the worm eats you, is there any way to retrieve that blueprint, or is it only contained in that fabricator? Because that's kind of something to really consider there, right? That means that if you were to you would definitely want to make sure you store that stuff someplace safe. That makes me cringe a little bit, just a little bit. Not that I think there's necessarily a better way to do it, but that gives me immediate concern because I don't want to lose all of the time invested in something like that.
you can see me placing the base I was just previewing. So first you gotta try and adjust it to find a spot, and once you place it, you can then confirm. So now it is placed. Now I cannot see it anymore, but the moment I build my building tool up, I put it here, now I can see the outline of this base, and I can start filling in the pieces. Now, even if I copied it and I placed it out, you still need to place out the building pieces. Like you don't get them for free, right? You have to craft your base.
Yeah.
And this base is basically, the idea of it is that it's a forward operating base that could be very handy for the deep desert, because it has several places for shielded ornithopters, and basically a core structure that has a lot of room for crafting machines and stuff like that.
We can actually show that because we have a video prepared for what it actually looks like once you have it completely built again.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll save you a lot of time
And
each
there
week.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. and there it is. I mean, that's a
great looking
that's
base.
Torgil magic.
It's pretty
right
cool.
There. Yeah. So it gives you an opportunity to see. Like,
I love the
all the things
shields
you can do. You have
as,
like those different doors
portal
here that you can
protection
actually
and
just
stuff, you
fly
know,
in or drive through without
the
having
storm.
to open and close. Even though they're like kind of,
Yeah.
you can't go in there if you
Those
don't have permission.
pentashields there.
Pentashields, exactly. You also see the big wind traps on the side. Those are actually
Yeah, wind turbines.
wind turbines.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so here's the interesting part. You can build creatively just for beauty's sake, or you can build very, efficiently and just make a box. That's up to you. And here I sort of combined it a bit. I made it reasonably concise, square-shaped to be easier to place out. And but still, I've added a little bit of flourish here. You can see especially the Atreides pieces, the wings, which is a unique Atreides feature here, and the gate you see there. But it's of course functional for the deep desert with the ornithopters.
To the
and you have
access
room for them.
points, exactly,
Yeah.
on the roof. And also like they lend itself really well to like kind of mirror like buildings,
Yeah,
those specific
it does.
pieces, which is very
And
cool.
you see those
Yeah.
pentashields there, they fully protect you against the shields and protect against the storms.
Yes.
And they protect the vehicles against the storm damage as well.
So just make sure you have enough power and you'll be all right.
Although that
Okay, so we can actually
That's
now
not protected.
switch again and check out some
not by that pentashield at least.
faction buildings.
Yes. So right now we've moved a little bit. I just got to get out of the sand here. I see the worm is prowling.
That's dangerous.
Yes. I'm close enough to land here.
You were
But
that's close to the sand, though. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So
It's risky.
yep.
So here I built a base with the two different chom sets. So we're gonna get a better look at it. I'm gonna fly up and stuff later, but you can see a little bit of an outline here. You can see some banners, things like that.
I really kind of like
entrance
the
here.
bases that are built
and,
into the clips and the
Pentashield
columns and
protects
all
it.
of that.
So we're gonna head in.
A lot of machinery going on there as well.
Yeah.
Refinery there.
Little picnic table in the middle. I like it. And here we have a nice resting area.
So here we have chom decorations, which I really like. The walls here, the bed, and you can really, if you
It's very
want to.
70s, isn't it? Like a little bit, or is it? Yeah, 70s.
Yeah, you could say that.
A bit of a vibe.
Yeah. Quite like the bookshelves here. So you see, like, even if, Dune Awakening is, it focuses on survival, you have to, beware the sandworm, the sandstorms, you can still do things like this. You can still be creative, you can still build if that's what you want to do. And here I'm playing around with elevation here inside, and you see that as we get outside also.
You gotta chill sometimes too, like. You
Yeah,
gotta
exactly.
enjoy your spiced tea and yeah.
Yes, and yes, because you can see there's lots of cutlery and cups and nice things, right? And you can just build this with your guild, and
You can definitely make it feel very lived in.
About
Sounded like a spice
profits
blow.
and fighting.
Exactly.
Nice combination with the functional downstairs there and then the sitting area
The
above.
social areas, I
Yeah.
agree. I
Okay.
agree.
So I'm gonna head up so that we can get a bit better look at.
And also really
the
nice to
space.
see the
Same pattern as the room dividers,
the
yeah.
verticality here as well, like how you can build, like also like nicely built into the mountainside here.
Yes, and we'll see that as I get into the thopter here. So here we have a chom thopter. We're just going to take off and take a little look at the base.
Oh, maybe
here.
it was a crash.
So here you can see the combination of the two chom sets. You
The more sandy color for the basic one, and then the white one for that one.
and they kind of I feel they really fit in with Dune here. The style of them,
Making use of the verticality here in this
Yes.
limited space, right?
Yes, exactly. And because this is an obvious thing in Dune Awakening that you may not think about, like you cannot build a base anywhere. If you build it out in the sand, it's
Well,
going
you
to get...
It will be early access for the people that bought the deluxe versions. Launch is Thursday,
and up here,
10
for
a.m.
example, I
So
have
2 days.
Assault Thopter,
2
which
days.
is,
Regular
it's a
launch
little
for
bit bigger than we have here.
regular purchases is on the 10th, which is 5 days
Yeah,
later.
so you can see you can
Soon.
build both
So
functionally
soon.
and, if you
I'm
want
not
to
playing. We're
play
watching
around
a
with
live
building
stream, one of the
different things,
Funcom
you can
live
do that.
streams that I hadn't seen yet.
So we got a peek at
This
this.
is,
base here.
the
I've got a
Funcom
little
video.
veranda here, actually, just
It's nice how you see those Prudence doors glowing there from a distance.
Yeah, and here you can see these.
Oh, you know what? I didn't actually. Of course,
Chrome,
that's over in
pieces.
Twitch. Twitch should have the
For
right
example, this
information.
here, so you
Yeah.
can have a
But you
little
know what? I
seating
don't
area.
have
The ones you mentioned earlier.
the title really set
Oh, we
right.
see the worm.
Ooh,
But we are
it is
safe in
closed
there.
though. Oh my
Yeah,
god, it's
yeah.
very close.
He
I
can't
thought
get
they
up here,
changed
so
that on
everything
freaking
is all right.
YouTube.
All right, so I'm gonna head over to an Atreides space.
Dang it.
By the way, I have the sunset die, the swatch for the Thopter. So, and this is part of the pre-order reward. So now, yeah, we see the worm below us actually. That's quite fun.
A bit too
Save up
close.
there. Just don't go. You're not safe in the area if you're too close. Just we mentioned that just now. Like, yeah, if you get into the beta, you can test how close you can get with the ornithopter to the storm before, to the worm before it's.
So our Thopter here has a couple of modules. It has a boost, so I can fly faster. The clue there here is not to overheat. And I have a scanner. You can just scan a little bit and then reveals resources as you go. You can see the area is quite decent on this.
Oh, and you
so we're
lost
just
all
flying
of that
towards the
information.
Shield
This is really annoying
built
me.
a big
YouTube's
trading
kind of
space up
pissing me
here.
off in the background. Sorry, y'all.
Right now, this is a trade post we see in front of us. So this is an important location for players because you can find trainers here. You can trade. You can find contracts, all sorts of things.
It's a hub for activities in the region, right?
Yeah. On our right here we have Vermilius Gap, and on our left we have Misateril and the Udam, and then we have the shield wall up here. So now you can actually see, my base here coming into view. Built a big Atreides base here. This is using all 6 land claim areas. So this is basically, it's filling out. You can build a little bit bigger, but not a lot. So, and here you can really see the verticality. You see I built along the cliff here, and you can see the Atreides wings. So these jut out. And you see the unique Atreides colors here.
That's great for that spot.
It's a nice spot, and it gives you a view of almost the whole map, right?
A new
So-
really great vantage point. Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm gonna settle down here.
I can't wait to have
So just a
an
quick
ornithopter to
look
fly around
at-
with.
Here you can see the Atreides pieces as they have been used, and these are
Really
unique.
big. They're
They
very
have
big
unique
too.
walls, these wings, everything is unique here. So in the base here, for example, here I have the biggest vehicle fabricator right here. So it's a huge platform.
Some water storage there as well, I see.
Yeah.
Large water tanks.
And here the Atreides assault ornithopter with rocket pods there. So, and yeah, I'm gonna show you a little bit around this space. Actually, I want to show the front of it a little bit to show off the gate, because the Atreides gate I really love. I just want to take a quick look at it here from this side as well. Because the hawk of the Atreides
Look at all
gate
that sticks this
is
time.
really, it's both creative and sort of majestic. How cool here. So you can see.
Well, I prefer the Harkonnen. Just saying. But,
Yeah, we're gonna show another Harkonnen.
She
base here
prefers the
also.
Harkonnen.
But
I think all of the
I've
building
been
sets are pretty
promising you
cool.
some,
I'm hoping that we'll get
decorations,
some
So we're gonna take a look at them.
different color
You'll
options
see
down the
combination
line.
of the functional there as well with the
Yes.
the wind traps and the turbines.
Plenty of
You can
building
see
sets,
the
so they said they're
creativity
going
here too, or like
we've got
the-
4 at
the
launch and more
eye
coming
for
afterwards,
as
so
well, because
that'll be cool.
some people might just, stack them next to each other somewhere down in the basement.
Yeah.
And here we have like, well, obviously not the.
You're lucky Tor Egil here isn't in the competition, right?
I really like the interiors in the Atreides.
There you go. We could do
Contestants
that. Yeah, we could do that for the future though. Like meet Tor Egil.
That'd be something.
So here
Oh,
I've
this is
decorated an Atreides room. It's using both Atreides decorations and the Caladan Palace set.
Right, the one that you get when you pre-order.
Yes, you get it in the Ultimate Edition. So actually here I have the terrarium
And the Muad'Dib as well.
You can see him in there. There he is.
Muad'Dib.
And yeah,
Another.
the Caladan Palisade is big. It has both building pieces and these decorations, so I can show you some unique things from it. For example, it has these unique wood panels that you can put on your walls. It has, yeah, you can see a portrait here. I think this is Paul's grandfather, Leto.
Leto the first, was it?
And yes. So you can see these are part of the Caladan Palisade, these nice furniture, and even some roof pieces.
This is the ad spot for the Ultimate Edition.
This roof piece, and these doors. So it's a fully functional, can build fully functional rooms with it. But and these holograms, you can see
it's $89 US, I believe, $90 for the Ultimate Edition.
Bookcases.
I think it's
banners,
$79 for
holograms, glow globes.
the regular
And up here,
deluxe,
we have a
or
unique
regular,
piece,
yeah,
which
regular
is,
deluxe, and
like a
then
fresco.
$49 for the.
Players will be able
regular.
to get access to this.
Eventually.
Yeah, it's not terrible, all things considered, right? And the Ultimate Edition does all,
piece, though.
actually
It is
both the
still
deluxe and the Ultimate also include
big too, that's huge.
the first 4 DLCs, is I think what they
this
said,
is
as part of
amazing.
the
I think we
season
should
pass.
Maybe move over to a Harkonnen
So-
base now as well.
Spending a little extra money, you get the
Because let's go
whatever
back.
content that they add for the first 4 DLCs. So
Just to see the contest.
that's worth considering
That's the
too.
good side, right?
That's the right side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you can build a base in the deep desert as well, and lots of probably groups will,
Right.
but that gets wiped every week.
We're
There
at
we
the
go.
Harkonnen base now.
Yeah, there is.
Cool. Now we have
There
come
is.
outside the Harkonnen base.
I don't think they've given us
Yeah,
all the
so he's
details
just
on
gonna
exactly
start
what's
off,
involved because you have to bring down the
interior here.
shield.
So I built some
It sounds
nice
like,
rooms.
and they've hinted that
there's
that if you look at the way they do
biggest,
that kind of thing in the
spice refinery, by the way,
movies,
on
it'll
the
have something to
right.
do with
It's
that.
huge.
I'm
You
actually
need space for that
expecting
one.
some kind of atomics,
Quite a few
but I guess we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, you need space for that one.
The base rating will be a thing in the
yeah,
deep
you can
desert.
see we're inside the Harkonnen structure. We're going to see it from the outside also. And we can take a look at the unique Harkonnen decorations. So, for example, straight ahead here, I have a little bedroom. You can see bed, and the style is very different.
Very dark.
Harkonnen
Yes,
stuff's pretty
it
cool
is.
too.
But it has a lot of unique details.
More rounder shapes.
It's just
Yes.
more organic, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
much
while
more.
the Atreides one is very
Yeah.
like military. like,
Organic is a
basically.
strange way to me to
It's a little
describe all
office
of that
here. And on
finned
the
metal
left,
stuff, but
put in a
it's
few more
definitely
lights with,
distinctive.
holograms and like a dining area here. So you see, it has a fully fledged set of decorations. I think you have to, you have to align with the faction to unlock these, and then you purchase them from their quartermasters, right, Leo?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
You have
So, yeah.
to work your way up the
You can
ranks.
take a quick trip outside. You can, Camille here, he has a Harkonnen ornithopter.
Oh, my favorite.
So
That's a nice looking one.
I love that so much because it actually looks like a dragonfly.
They are
It
very
actually looks
distinctive.
Like,
Yeah.
An insect. It's
And-
so interesting.
You get that in the same way, right?
Yes.
Progressing through the ranks and
Yes,
unlocking it.
exactly.
yeah. So here you can see
Yeah.
the base.
You know what?
You
And
have a ground section.
until
and
I know
then
what the
as you
third
go up,
faction is, I'm going to be
up
very
on the right
hesitant
there,
about
built
declaring for
base
anybody,
basically, but they're all
right?
connected. If you keep to the same grid, you can connect all
Because
the
if it
big
isn't a
areas
faction
and-
I don't
So
want
this
to
is
wind
just-
up
it's a
on,
tip to- if
then
you're
I
building,
want to
just
go
keep on the
declare
same
with
grid,
either
keep
them or
everything
her go
connected,
first,
and they all match
so
up.
they can eventually
You can
wind
see
up as
these
Atreides.
round pieces here.
But I'm gonna want all the
Harkonnen,
building
those
stuff, so-
Decorated, those big heads are really awesome.
But we'll see
And the
how
gate with,
soon that
huge
happens.
face. You can see there.
In
this
some
is an
ways, I
amazing
do very
looking
much
base.
like the
It is, though,
Harkonnen.
like,
The,
the first time I saw
it, I could
the
not
dark
believe
black
it.
stuff
but
does
also
speak
like
to
it's
me a
so much
little
bigger than
bit,
it looks
but
here because
Yeah.
you're like really outside. in the
it doesn't
ornithopter,
look
and
like it belongs
actually
in the desert.
Yeah.
really massive. It's super massive.
But this
Alien
shows you
movies,
can
yeah, no,
really
I agree.
create
I
a
feel
funny
like
cool place, start building,
they use
and
some of the
especially if
same
you get into building,
influence
you get a bit-
with Giger, from Giger, right? Or Geiger. I'm actually not sure how it's properly pronounced, but the guy that designed all the stuff from the Alien movies back in the 80s. And it's the same kind of influence that we got to see in the Chronicles of Riddick from the Necromongers, right? I can definitely see a relationship there. Similar vibe, particularly with all the fins and the curves and all of that. It definitely feels that way. It's pretty cool. I would like to see it in a place where I didn't feel like it was totally out of place. Right, because the desert tends to be very light and sandy. And if there was a darker area, I'd be more inclined to drop the Harkonian stuff in there somewheres. The interior stuff looks pretty cool, though. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'll definitely be playing with the base building because I really enjoy building, period. But I've not played a lot of these builder survival games. So we will be scratching that itch hard with Dune for sure.
Experienced, you can do this in not too long.
Yeah.
Like if you have the resources.
I agree. It kind of has that Arabic,
maybe a day,
ornate,
and maybe a little bit more, but you can build it quite quickly.
And it's really
well,
tailored
you're very
here.
experienced as well. Yeah.
I have built. It has helped building, dozens of cities in Conan Exiles.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's still, it's a thrill always to build in Dune Awakening, I think.
Talking about creativity, we have actually done a call to action in our internal beta, and we asked everyone really, we asked everyone in the beta to send us their builds, their buildings. So
I would be curious to see what players build.
Where
right?
Twitch chat, unfortunately, our bot is not working on YouTube for whatever reason. We apologize for that, but Twitch can vote. We will show you. We picked 5 of our favorites that were submitted, and we will let you vote in chat. The first prize will get a Ultimate Edition for Dune Awakening, and the 4 runner-ups will all get a Deluxe Edition.
Das Wheelie. I don't know if you're still over there on YouTube, but it just occurred to me that your whole name, right? Das Wheelie Cool. Like, that's really cool.
Yes.
I'm slow on the uptake there. Sorry, brother.
That's
There we go.
number A. So,
There we go.
So now we go. Now we have it. So if you want to vote, you do !A.
I mean, that's
B,
definitely very
C,
Harkonnen.
D, or E.
I think
chat.
it's pretty cool
And then you
in
vote
its
for that
own way.
specific
It's just,
building.
man,
But
it
obviously,
looks so weird in the
wait
desert,
until we see all
which
of
is
them.
probably kind of the intent, right?
start
The
We
Harkonians
have a
want
Harkonnen
to
style base.
stamp
And it's huge.
Dune and say, nope, this is
So
ours.
you can see the round shapes. It's
This is amazing.
I
Just
captured-
this view is
That
really
is very
captured this
cool.
video yesterday, and there's lots of cool bases here, and they're really big. And just a thing to point out here, the servers are so full of bases, you see them everywhere basically. So it's really awesome to see how much people are building.
Also,
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention that we have actually mostly judged
Yeah,
by
this is true.
the look from the outside, plus also accessibility, how it will kind of work in the setup and everything, how it was built in the terrain, because we
character,
didn't
yeah.
really
Yeah.
have as much.
That's kind of the
what-
nature of
what
the
is it
beast,
called?
like you said, with pre-building.
we
We'll see how it goes. But I
Focus on the
see what he
focus
was
that
just
much
saying,
into
though,
here.
about the beta servers, about how there's bases everywhere. That's kind of the only lingering concern that I have about aesthetics, right? Is like, how many people can be on a siege, right? We know there can only be 40 people on a siege, on a Haga Basin / siege at a time. But how many are actually going to be in that Haga Basin when we're not considering the queues? Is it 100? Is it 200? Is it 300? We know that the deep desert caps at 300 concurrently. So even if we say, 100 or 200 or 300, it's like that many people building in the same Haga Basin is going to be a lot of bases. So I'm, ideally I'd like to have a base that's someplace useful, but isn't in the middle of a crowd of bases, right? So I'm kind of wondering how that's going to shape up in the long run. And of course, the good news is that you can copy your blueprint, which does not copy your placeables, however, and move your base if you need to, right? You can abandon it or destroy it and then build someplace else. But I don't know. We're going to have to see how that goes. Because part of that is, like I said, I came from, my first MMO was Ultima Online, where you had physical housing placed. And when you ran out of space, you ran out of space. And it really was. It was any place there could be a house, there was a house. It was very difficult to find a place to build. You could, and if I was only interested in the PvE experience, that would probably be the way that I would go, right? If I was just looking for a single-player Dune, single-player Dune, in quotes, because it's not, but it would kind of feel that way. But, yeah, we'll see how it goes. It may not be a big deal at all. Maybe there just won't be enough people that are staying active in a given area and that the basis will degrade. The beta is obviously a special circumstance. People are excited to be in the game as it develops and all of that. So it may be worrying about nothing.
Because not everyone had access to those. So we apologize for that in advance, and we definitely have more opportunities down the line. So
That looks kind of cool. I like the way it's all built into the cliff, sort of, on into.
Wall, similar to what I did.
That's
for
very
the
neat.
3D space. You can get like a really nice view, like overhanging the edge. And yeah, it's pretty big also, this. And you can see the unique Atreides pieces. It's really cool to see how creative the players are, and
Absolutely.
And as you know,
Wow, that's pretty cool
after
too.
launch, we'll just see more and more of it.
Also this one,
Yeah.
a
That's a great
fantastic
looking one.
point.
Yeah.
A fantastic point as well to choose for your building, because it has such an amazing view from up there.
Yeah. And this is showing how you can use even the
Beautiful.
angular pieces to make a bit more organic shapes on a larger scale, right? Which they clearly have done here.
In this space, they've actually combined a little bit of Harkonnen with Atreides.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, which is possible if you.
Yeah, I see the dark walls in the hole there.
But yeah, this is built in the Udam, so it's a very creative region there. Oh,
Also this one, obviously maybe hard to tell which faction this is for.
Servers of
the
their
eagle
kind,
there is
right?
quite
It's a
stunning,
little bit
I
of a
think.
giveaway. Yeah. regarding-
Yeah, you could. It'd be interesting to see
It's very cool.
It's called this one.
what'll
has a
happen with the
very
private
clear
servers in the deep
also
desert.
so
I will be
it's,
interested to hear people
capture
talk
here
about
going
it.
up, showing off a little bit here.
You see that a little
Some
bit.
great balconies here too.
Yeah.
I
It's
do
just a
believe
really
that Funcom will
great,
get it sorted,
usage of
though,
the
which
space
is
as well.
a good way to
And they have
feel
another Harkonnen.
about the developer,
Yeah,
right?
huge
Because they seem to
garage
be
there.
really on
Yeah.
point with this stuff so far.
Yeah. That's
It's
great.
like you can actually fit the carrier into that one.
This is built in the very corner of the shield wall, and there you can see a really nice interior there.
That's pretty cool.
So, it's a huge base. The tower is staggeringly tall.
Oh yeah.
And
Yes,
this
as
is-
opposed to
remember, if
another
you just
developer.
increase your
Like I was saying
base,
earlier,
the land
The
size
vibe
vertically,
that you
can
get from
keep on
Funcom
building.
is for soon TM is
So,
totally
as I
different
mentioned,
than
we
the
have
vibe
actually
from maybe
chosen
another developer.
5 that we showed you now, but we also want to show you some of the honorable mentions that we really liked as well, but they didn't make it into
Yeah,
the top 5.
Right, because I mean, if you change
This is
worlds
fantastic as well.
from a private server to a public one, you got to start over.
Yeah.
It's a
Wasn't there
pineapple.
like there was a little thing that I think Ignacy wanted to put
That's a
on
little
this, like,
crazy.
is this the
But you know, hey,
favorite
There we go.
pizza topping? It's okay.
That's great.
Perfect. Favorite pizza topping? There is no discussion.
Oh, look
Pineapple
at that.
that's pretty
This is
strange.
really cool.
Certainly
Very
unique.
creative.
It's built with Atreides pillar foundations to make this sort of lattice work here.
I
It's
love
very
that.
creative.
I love that.
That
a
is
lot.
There's a bit of a
interesting.
cage feeling
Yeah,
to it.
it shows you
Yeah.
can just go nuts if you want to.
And this one, of
Yes.
course.
Oh wow.
Like the scorpion, yes.
I appreciate the effort there. I don't really like it, but it's kind of cool that you can do that.
That's like the beta testers. Imagine once the game releases and we have like,
The crab
That's
claws.
incredible.
I don't know how people play a game, but it's like, I just can't wait to see what players will create. I mean, this is just,
This one I hear is a dedicated toilet.
that's a toilet!
Yes. So I did take a photo of myself there.
It's an outhouse.
That's amazing.
So
That's
Love it.
nice for the passer.
Oh God, it's the
Yes.
worm.
And then a little homage to
Shai-Hulud.
Shai-Hulud, obviously. Also absolutely fantastic, so creative.
yeah, it's really cool.
After being eaten too many times.
Yeah, I know. It's
Please
just
not
like,
again. I'll build a statue.
It's like
That's funny.
a prayer thing. It's
Yeah.
like, if I'm All right, so we are closing the poll in a few seconds, and it seems we have a clear winner, actually. Yeah, so it looks like...
Let's see.
Do we have the
He was,
results?
I think he was
I wonder who it is.
Nice.
46%.
Soon
for
TM, next
option
morning patch
C.
fixed it. That's
Can we
fantastic,
show that
man.
again,
Oh,
maybe?
wow.
That's very
a pineapple.
gratifying to feel like, yes, they're paying attention to the community.
Built in Odam, this
There
one.
we
we
go.
go.
Yes.
Congratulations
Nice.
to
Nice.
C.
Same thing with copy staying satisfactory.
really
Yeah,
good.
excellent.
Ultimate edition of Dune Awakening, and everyone
Very
else
cool.
In those top 5, like the 4 runner-ups, will get a deluxe edition as well. So thank you so much. And also we have a surprise for the honorable mentions. They will all get a standard edition as well, plus a little surprise
this
for
is the one
everyone
that
in the
won.
beta who has submitted a build. Who
They were
didn't
all
make it
cool.
into the stream. We have a little surprise for you as well. More on that in the Discord, though. There will be a message for you later.
A small comment on the winner there. It was a lot of decorated interiors also, so
Yes.
that base had, the builder had really put effort in here.
Yes, I'm actually, I mean, obviously, I'm a little bit sad that we couldn't put more weight on interior design, but it was just
For
not
tech,
fair to
yeah.
the ones who didn't have
Definitely
those
in their own
unlocked.
division. Yeah, they are.
So we couldn't really do that. Again, as I mentioned, you'll have more opportunities.
And I mean, in fairness, that's
but
kind of everything
some
with
the interior
CIG and
designs
Star
that we
Citizen,
saw
right? Is it's
in
all
those
still a
submissions
work
are
in
absolutely
progress.
mind-blowing.
Everything
And
seems to be,
maybe,
you know, for
we will
a
probably
company
have-
that
I will
claimed
also-
to be
we will have a
using
post
an
sometime
agile
down the line
development
where we show
model.
those,
They
builds a bit
seem
more and also,
very
like, shows
slow
off the
moving over
interior
the
design.
last
I
couple
think
of
that would
years.
be very cool.
They seem to be more
But yes,
responsive
I
early
think,
on, but it's gotten
we can
slower
wrap up
and
with the
slower
building
and slower
segment
and
here,
slower,
Leo
and
and
it's
Felicia,
all the
thank you
wrong
so very
momentum.
much for being
So
here
hopefully
and
they can
talk to
break
us
through that.